From the ashes of humble beginnings, rise the sense of regeneration, signaling the dawn of a new age. The foundations of the old and antiquated, now demolished, and in its place the newly built pillars of fearlessness and opportunity. Dreams are clearer, expectations are set higher, and the quest for championship gold is even stronger than it's ever been before. At one time or another, everything goes through a period of evolution. The world of wrestling is no different. Welcome to a new age. Welcome to a new era. Welcome to a new FWE.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome inside of the Fantasy Dome as we get ready here tonight for Thursday Night Throwdown. I'm Seth Cole alongside of Jack Mitchell. Jack, last week we saw the first of two qualifying matchups to determine a new #1 contender for the Tri-Wizard Championship. Looks like tonight we get the second of those qualifiers.
That we do. We're going to see Hades and Maui in action, as well as some big men in the ring, as well as Kyle Matthews and Carson Gunn going to be going at it as well. How about that? That was going to be some entertaining matchups here.
Two winners tonight will join Robbie Gilvin and Ernie the Keebler Elf in a fatal four-way at Saturday night at Springfield, but it looks like we're going to be kicking off the night with the inaugural Iron Queen champion, who not only last week at Fantasia won that title belt, but then 1 week ago had to defend it against a former world champion in Moana.
Jasmine and Moana went at it last week in the ring, taking each other to the limit. Jasmine emerging on top in that battle. See, last week hit that desert wind and basically rode that all the way to the victory in this matchup. She had to hit a few in them against Moana, but managed to retain nevertheless.
Her first world championship here in FWE. Now looks like she's going to address the FWE Universe. Let's go to ringside.
FWE Universe, can you believe it? We are finally here. We are finally at the top of the mountain, and I am finally a world champion in fantasy wrestling entertainment. I gotta be honest with you. If a few months ago you said to me that I was going to be standing here holding this championship, I would have called you a liar. I gotta admit, things were not looking good for me. I was beginning to wonder if I really had what it took to be a champion here in FWE. But let's recount what's happened in the last couple of months. First, I was able to claim my very first championship here in the industry when I brought home the Women's Rotten to the Hardcore Championship. Then, I would join my girls inside of Lost Empire Lockdown in maybe one of the most brutal matches I have ever been a part of, and we came out victorious. Then, it was announced that I would be part of the Iron Queen tournament, and I had to go through 3 super tough individuals, from Black Widow to Ellie Williams to maybe one of the greatest women we have here on this roster, a former Universal Champion in Elizabeth Swann. and I was able to defeat her in the finals at Fantasia to be the very first holder of this belt. And then last week, I was able to defeat another former Universal Champion in Moana. This has been an incredible last few months for me. It has brought about a roller coaster of emotions. And while I've got my head maybe the clearest it's been in a while, I need to take this opportunity to thank some individuals who have made this possible. First, and maybe the most important, I need to thank my girl Ariel. Because if it wasn't for her faith and her belief in me that I could get it done, I would not be standing here right now. A few months ago, my status in the Disney Queens was hanging by a thread. Ariel went to bat for me. She was the only one that was willing to keep me in the faction because she knew someday I was going to add to the Disney Queen's legacy. And because of her faith, that is why I currently stand where I am right now with this world championship. So Ariel, I know you're back there from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. Next person that I need to thank is...
Single grain of rice can tip the scale. One man may be the
Hold on a second here. I'm not necessarily certain if this was the next person she was going to thank, but it looks like the first woman to ever bring a world championship to the Disney Queens, Mulan, is now making her way out here to ringside, and there's not the best of history between these two.
No, there is not.
Jasmine, if you'll please just indulge me for a second. I don't mean to come out here and steal under. I came out here for two specific purposes. The first is, I cannot tell you how proud I was when I watched you win this Iron Queen championship at Fantasia. I wanted to come out here publicly and personally to congratulate you on winning this world title. You more than deserve it.
Thank you, Mulan. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. As I said, you more than deserve it, but I had a second reason for coming out here as well. You see, a few months ago, when I gave you the ultimatum that if you didn't win the Hardcore Championship, you would be out of the Disney Queens forever, that was wrong. See, I'm not trying to make excuses, but back around that time, I was defending the Female Fighting Championship every week. I was of this mindset that if the Disney Queens weren't winning and holding gold, that nobody was going to take us seriously. And when I saw that Belle and Rapunzel and Ariel and myself had either won or were currently holding titles, and you had yet to win a championship in FWE, I had this mentality that was a serious, serious problem, and I made that problem your problem. That was not right. That was the wrong thing to do. That was the wrong mentality. And I wanted to come out here in front of the entire FWE universe and publicly apologize to you for my actions. Jasmine, from the bottom of my heart, I'm sorry.
Look, Mulan, I understand now. I was the outlier. I was the only member of the faction who had not yet won championship gold, and to be honest, if anything, the pressure that you put on me, I think, is what made me a better competitor. It, in a sense, prepared me for this Iron Queen tournament. It prepared me for these title matches that I've been involved in, and I feel that it will continue to prepare me for future matchups that I have against other incredible women on this roster. So, just so you're aware, there's no hard feelings here. And as a matter of fact, I am honored to join you as a woman that has brought a world championship to the Disney Queens.
Oh, Jasmine, I cannot tell you what a weight this is off my shoulders, what a load this is off of my mind. Thank you so much for your understanding and accepting my apology. And hey, as a show of good faith, I earlier on tonight had a talk with our Thursday Night Throwdown Commissioner Woody, and he's agreed, if you are willing, that he will put you and myself together in a tag team match. I know that we can certainly dial up the chemistry that we had inside of Lost Empire Lockdown, and I know for certain that if you follow my lead, we can continue to be the most successful faction here in FWE. What do you say?
Well, I am more than ready for sure to join you in tag team action, Mulan. And you're correct. We will make the Disney Queens the most powerful female faction in FWE once again. You and I will be victorious tonight in tag team action, but you're not quite right on how we're going to do it. You see, now things have changed. Tonight, the champ calls the shots.
Hey, champ.
What's up?
You just see what happened out there?
Yeah, I just saw it at Commissioner Woody's office. I also found out that we're the team that they're going to be facing tonight, so better get ready.
Sounds good. Let's do it.
Yeah, you bet. But that wasn't the only reason I was talking to Woody.
Oh?
Yeah, you see, I still haven't forgotten that the week before Fantasia, you pinned Mulan while she was still the female fighting champion. Something like that shouldn't go unnoticed. So, per my request, and Woody has agreed, that you name the time and the place, and you'll get a title shot against me for this belt.
I can't believe it. I don't know what to say.
Hey, you don't have to say anything right now. Just take some time and let me know what you want to do, okay?
Yeah. Okay.
All right, I'll see you out there tonight.
Right. Yeah. See ya.
Well, certainly a lot to unpack of just what's gone down here in the last few minutes, and
Oh, Jesus.
I'm gonna need you to stay in your chair because I need someone to talk to, okay? I
I'll stay
know.
here.
I can see the twitchiness.
Handshake. These guys think they are.
Well, I don't know who they think they are, but they call themselves the Disciples of Darkness. And folks, if you're not exactly aware of why this animosity is in my broadcast colleague Jack Mitchell's voice, you could just rewind the tape back to this past Saturday night. We can rewind it back a little further, but going back to this past Saturday night, we ended up seeing Jack and Hades in a one-on-one matchup. Jack would pin him shoulders to the mat, 1, 2, 3, and then was on the receiving end of a 3-on-1 attack when the cameras went off the air.
And that is basically the least of what they've done to me over these last few weeks. Obviously, you see that Cruiserweight Championship, the Wayfinder Cruiser Championship, around the waist of Dr. Basilier.
Of course, as well, Hades, the potential perpetrator of an attack of Levi McIntyre this past Saturday night, and as he gets ready here tonight for this qualifier to be the new #1 contender for the Tri-Wizard Championship. No surprise he's not coming out alone, but looks like Maui's not coming out alone either.
You know, try and let the bad blood at ringside here get out of the way for a moment, because at the end of the day, we still have #1 contenders to determine. And yeah, the travel aspect of things that we talked about heavily when we were building up to our last PLE at Fantasia, kind of going to be a factor here as well. This is the last episode of Thursday Night Throwdown before everybody's going to make their way over to Springfield for Sunday night at Springfield. So that will certainly be a factor in this matchup here.
Fourth iteration of that glorified house show PLE. First time it takes place on Sunday nights. You see Maui accompanied here by Moana. It's been a whirlwind last couple of weeks for her. Of course, last week she fought Jasmine for the Iron Queen Championship in a losing effort, but then this past Saturday night was involved in a triple threat and earned #1 contendership for Harley Quinn's Cozy Cone Cruiserweight title.
Well, this is the matchup where we're going to see the big men in the ring, and obviously Hades, there was the attack on me post-match, but I did still pin him, so he's probably, hopefully in my mind, got that in the back of his mind.
Definitely a brutal matchup, a hard-hitting matchup in that main event last week. I think it's probably safe to say you're not going to be unbiased in this matchup. So let's talk a little bit about what we just saw go down here at the start of the show. Apparently a tag team matchup here tonight. Iron Queen champion Jasmine and her fellow Disney Queen faction member Mulan going to be tagging against, looks like Ellie Williams, the new female fighting champion, her tag team partner Katniss Everdeen of Catching Fireflies. But it doesn't exactly the latter portion of the conversation between Mulan and Jasmine doesn't quite sound like they're on the same page.
No, it does not. I think that was when Jasmine said that the champion is calling the shots, and that honestly is an interesting mindset to take between those two, because obviously it felt like, or Jasmine, you would have to feel like, has been the one on the receiving end of the other members of the Disney Queens calling the shots. But now that she's in control and she has that Iron Queen championship around her waist, she feels like things are going to be different nowadays.
Big deal there, off the ropes and into the ring by Hades, cover on Maui and a kick out at 1. I found it a little interesting too, because it kind of seemed like everything was going to be on good terms. Jasmine, in her own words, didn't have any hard feelings, seeming to accept Mulan's apology, but we'll have to see if the two of them can work together tonight. Mulan brought up a great point, though. If they tap into the chemistry they had inside of the Lost Empire lockdown when they, along with Ariel, were able to defeat Disney Strong Style, certainly you got to think they'd be a formidable force against Catching Fireflies.
Absolutely. I'm intrigued in that conversation as well that happened backstage between the two members of Catching Fireflies, too.
Yeah, seemingly Katniss Everdeen basically given a blank check for a shot at the Female Fighting Championship that her tag team partner Ellie Williams currently holds. Of course, ended up winning that title in the ambulance match 1 week ago.
Yeah, Ellie certainly does not seem like she would be at 100% after that grueling ambulance match that she was on the victorious end of, so I wonder, Mulan probably as well, not going to be in 100% after that matchup as well. She's the one that got put inside that ambulance to lose that matchup.
Absolutely. Again, this a qualifying matchup. Winner will join 3 other individuals at Sunday night at Springfield, Sunday, August 16th. As looking, I think it's going for a DDT, and Maui with a back body drop. We already know that Robbie Gilvin has advanced, Ernie the Keebler Elf has advanced, Maui almost advanced right there, and we've got one more individual to determine tonight as Carson Gum will be taking on Kyle Matthews later on this evening.
You look at the types of each of the individuals that are in these matchups as well, these qualifying matchups. We're going to have some variety in that #1 contenders fatal 4-way, because you got the 2 big men here, and you got a couple of high flyers in Carson Gum and Kyle Matthews.
Now he Irish whipped into the corner. Hades now has him perched up on the top rope. And I thought he was going to go for something off the top rope, but instead just shoving Maui to the outside.
Just trying to wear him down a little bit, maybe get inside of his head as well, and that wouldn't surprise me in the slightest.
Of course, as well, we are tonight, I do believe, going to be determining who the #1 contenders are going to be for the Women's Disney Tag Team titles. We've been following this ongoing mini round-robin tournament here involving Huntrix, Team Let It Go, Mutiny, and the Disney Queens, Rapunzel and Belle. We're going to have our final matchups here tonight to find out who those #1 contenders are going to be. Right now, the ball is firmly in the court of Mutiny, who sits at 2-0. The Disney Queens, Team Let It Go, currently at 1-1, and Huntrick's pretty much out of the fight, but could play spoiler here tonight.
Yeah, again, as I said multiple times during this tournament, Huntrick's no wins of any capacity, singles or tag in FWE here, so they're at least just trying to get a win, just to at least get rid of the goose egg that's in their win column right now.
Maui back in control here. You think about Maui, trying to find a little bit of momentum, trying to get his mojo back. The last time we ended up seeing him in a wrestling ring, he ended up getting tapped out by Harley Quinn in that Call Your Shot elimination gauntlet match.
Yeah, Maui certainly wants to get a little bit of redemption for himself personally after tapping out to somebody like Harley Quinn. Not to necessarily take anything away from Harley Quinn, but you look at the difference in size and strength between Maui and Harley, and certainly not the result that you would expect, but then again, anything can happen inside of a wrestling ring once the bell rings.
Kind of ironic how everything kind of seems to come around full circle. Harley Quinn, the woman that Moana will end up facing off against, now the new #1 contender for that Cozy Cone Cruiserweight Championship. This referee at a count of 5, both individuals back into the ring once again. Been hard hitting between these two, and now Maui, big squash into the corner. Drops Hades down, gets that bottom turnbuckle, and then just buries the foot into the throat. That might be enough. Is that going to get him to Sunday night at Springfield? And no, Hades out at 2.
Gonna take a little bit more than that to put Hades away. I can tell you that from experience.
Oh maybe that.
That could very well be it.
I want to call that a choke slam, but he had his entire hand around the face of Hades, not the throat.
Nonetheless from the head and neck region.
Got to think somewhere backstage, Ernie and Robbie Gilvin both keeping an eye on this matchup. They know they're going to have to go up against a big man this Sunday night. The question is going to be, who is it? Will it be Maui, the demigod? Will it be Hades, the god of the underrealm? Massive headbutt. Maui's not Samoan, but he is from that region.
I don't think you want to be headbutted by a demigod regardless.
No. Oh my.
What is he thinking about here? Oh!
Gracious! Massive slam with the splash. Oh, and that was nearly it.
I don't necessarily blame Maui for feeling like that was enough to put Hades away. That was a vicious slap.
Oh, wait. Oh! He hits the spike. I saw Gunther up on the apron, but it was not a distraction. The spike hits home, and Maui is going to Sunday night at Springfield.
Here is your winner,
Yeah, Nick, get your ass off the ring apron. You saw what you did.
Don't think that went the way the Disciples of Darkness were planning it to. As Maui now will have a shot at maybe claiming #1 contendership for the Tri-Wizard title in about 72 hours.
Great showing there from Maui. Now only one more participant to be determined in that #1 contenders fatal 4-way that we're going to see at Sunday night at Springfield. But coming up next, we resume this round robin tournament going on in the women's tag team division. Huntrick desperately trying to get a win over Team Let It Go.
Welcome to Kingdom Jewel, where the broken become brave. Every scar is a shining proof. Every doubt gets thrown away. When the bell hits 3 and the night turns cruel, we still stand in the center. We still shine. Kingdom Jewel.
We welcome you back here inside of the Fantasy Dome as we get ready for the first of our 2 finals of this round robin tournament.
There's a tag team match set for 1 fall. On the way to the ring, Demon Hunter Romy and Demon Hunter Minor. Pretty deadly.
covering the unsuccess that Huntrix has found here ever since their debut in the Fantasy Dome. And tonight, if I'm going over my notes correctly, it looks like this is the third combination that they are trying here. First time it was Zoe and Mira, second time it was Zoe and Rumi, now Mira and Rumi trying to find something, anything, and they could, as we said, they could play the ultimate spoiler. Right now, mathematically, they cannot be the #1 contenders, but they could stop Team Let It Go from being #1 contenders as well.
Absolutely could. So a win tonight is big in more ways than one.
This matchup is must win on both sides for two different reasons. For Huntrix, they want to play spoiler, but for Team Let It Go, if they lose this matchup, more than likely they are eliminated from #1 contendership. However, if they can come out on the winning side, there is a slight hope they have that if the Disney Queens can beat Mutiny later on tonight, we'd find ourselves in a three-way tie-in, and then at that point, I don't want to be Commissioner Woody and have to try and make a decision on that.
Maybe do a triple threat match of some sort.
Maybe.
Never know what the tiebreaker could be, but again, like I talked about before the show, or before the matchup at the start of the show, Huntrix desperately in need of a win. Not necessarily even in just this tournament, but I've said multiple times, is we got to cover right here out of the gate and a kick out at 1. Huntrix has not found any kind of success in FWE. No wins in singles matches, no wins in tag team matches. If they go 0-3 in this tournament, you have to wonder just what it is they're even doing here in FWE at this point.
Absolutely. So far, they have lost out to both the Disney Queens and Mutiny. Team Let It Go, they started out the tournament strong, picked up a victory over Belle and Rapunzel, the Disney Queens, but then last week we saw them suffer a count-out loss to Mutiny that has Mutiny currently sitting at 2-0.
Yeah, Mutiny's certainly going to be the powerhouses of this tournament, but we're going to have to see how they respond here in their matchup against Belle and Rapunzel later tonight.
Former tag team champions Team Let It Go have held the belts multiple times. I would like to get back up to the top of the mountain. Of course, those tag team championships currently held by Nebula and Gamora, the daughters of Thanos. We saw them successfully defend those titles against Kim Possible and Shigo Toxic Attraction at Fantasia.
Trying to play in the crowd a little bit before delivering that big forearm to the back. Flying up to the middle rope. For some kind of a kick there, didn't connect. Instead, we'll settle for the double axe handle.
Connects with it. And now, maybe going for a submission. No, instead, just kind of wrenching on the back there. It was almost a cloverleaf submission hold, but wrenching on, I don't know, I would assume that the impact would not only be the knee, but also that lower back region into the knee of that one that's delivering the move.
Show off the tag team chemistry. Also with that diving elbow from the top rope. She might feel like this is already it, going into the armbar.
Yeah, armbar locked in. Nowhere close to the ropes for Rumi. Able to shift the hips to try and fight out of it, but Team Let It Go very nearly picking up a victory right there. Got to be a tough situation here for Team Let It Go as well, because even if you win this matchup, you still don't know. Your fate is yet to be determined with the matchup later on tonight. If Mutiny ends up going 3-0, they've swept the table. They're the #1 contenders straight up.
I mean, if they, I think that's just, honestly, it's more pressure to win the matchup. If your Team Let It Go is the cover here, 2 count, also will kick out.
We've ended up seeing this round-robin tournament. Who would have thought that we'd go into a scenario here tonight in these final matchups where really all 4 teams are coming in must-win situations for different reasons, different scenarios. There's a tag on both sides, Anna and Rumi. Legal, and Rumi hits the spear. Could this be the first win for Huntrix since they joined Fantasy Wrestling Entertainment? No!
I'm trying to find some sort of momentum. Look out here, though.
Oh, wait a minute. Might be setting up for the takedown. Can she get Anna up? Yes, she can! This could be it! Cover is in by Rumi, and Elsa's gonna spoil the party.
Elsa not even letting her get a 1 count, to the point that I was trying to make. If your team let it go here, I mean, yes, you don't know your fate in the tournament if you're able to win this matchup, but I think that just adds to the pressure of maybe trying to win even more, because at least you give yourself a chance if you're able to get a win here tonight.
Exactly. Lower back into the corner, and a nice belly-to-belly overhead suplex by Mira. Anna now trying to desperately make her way over to the corner. She'll tag Elsa in.
And I will say, too, maybe adding even more to the pressure here that's on Team Let It Go. Nobody wants the, I guess, dishonorable distinction of being the first team to lose to a team that hasn't picked up a win here of any kind in FWE.
And you have to think...
How long have they been here? Do you know the exact number?
About a month, maybe, before the brand expansion.
Certainly been some time.
Oh, big double axe handle there by Elsa. It's kind of interesting. You look at the career of Jasmine, almost kind of in the same situation as Huntrix, where was not being able to find success. We obviously have well documented how her status in the Disney Queens was hanging by a thread, and now you see where she is today. Oh! Big takedown there by Elsa. Is this enough for them to go 2-1? Yes, it is. The winless streak continues for Huntrix, and now, if your team let it go, you are throwing all your eggs into the basket, hoping that Mutiny suffers a loss here tonight.
We talked about the crazy scenario that could emerge if we have a 3-way tie. We very well could now have a 3-way tie, but at the very least, Team Let It Go knows they've got a chance.
They are going to be the biggest Disney Queens fans here tonight, as they will be watching with bated breath their potential fate for #1 contendership. And speaking about breath, ours was taken away last week when we saw the unpredictable return of the former Triwizard champion RJ Bishop. He's in action next as he'll take on Harry Potter in one-on-one action. We are just a few short days away from when we eventually get to that Sunday night at Springfield PLE. And I'd love to whet everybody's appetite for what to expect that night, but as of right now, I think the only match we know of that's going to be taking place is that fatal 4-way for #1 contendership for the Triwizard title. Everything else is still kind of up in the air.
Yeah, not totally certain what we're going to see on the card, but I'm sure that we'll get some more clarity here going into the rest of the night here and coming up next Saturday as well.
Well, Harry Potter, former Wayfinder Cruiser champion. I believe this is the first time we are seeing him in the ring since the brand expansion. Member of Thursday Night Throwdown, and gonna have to take on a former Triwizard champion. Interesting that Harry Potter, of course, the Harry Potter franchise is basically the inspiration for the Triwizard belt. And he's gonna take on an individual who, let's not forget, never lost the title. RJ Bishop was stripped of the title. He did not lose it in a contest.
It's true. He was stripped of the title after super kicking our Commissioner Woody through a table. Woody, of course, needed medical attention after that, and he and Saturday Night Commissioner Nick Fury had a discussion. Ultimately, chose to strip RJ of the title, but RJ never lost it in any kind of contest inside of the ring. There was never a pinfall, submission, any kind of official matchup or anything like that. He was just stripped of the belt.
feel like we have used and abused the word momentum here in the last month, month and a half, ever since the two respective rosters were determined, but everybody is building towards Kingdom Jewel, Infinity War Games, and of course the big one at Paramount, which it'll be upon us before you know it, folks.
Weighing in at 228 pounds,
Well, it was last week we saw RJ Bishop taking on Robbie Gilvin in that qualifying matchup to advance to Sunday Night Springfield's Fatal 4-Way #1 Contenders match. RJ in a losing effort, certainly not the result he was looking for as he tries to get his Tri-Wizard title back. Tonight, I think it's all about maybe trying to stop the bleeding, maybe get some footing here again. As we mentioned, it's been quite a while since last week that we've seen RJ Bishop inside of a wrestling ring.
Yeah, I think stop the bleeding is probably the appropriate reaction to what this matchup has been set up for, but at the same time, I'm really still curious to know if there's anything that Commissioner Woody might have in store for RJ. I mentioned last week when he came back, maybe all well and good between RJ and Woody, but you never know. Woody might have something in store for him, because you have to remember, Woody is the one who chose to select RJ in the draft to come to the Thursday Night Throwdown brand. I have to wonder, was there some real intent behind that decision?
We will certainly have to wait to find out. Yeah, to your point, I think it was maybe one of the biggest shocks during the FWE draft when we saw Commissioner Woody make the choice to bring RJ Bishop over to the Thursday Night brand. We'll see what RJ is able to do here tonight against an individual who defended the Wayfinder Cruiser Championship at Paramount against Carson Gum, that in Harry Potter. Bell sounds, here we go. There were a couple of times last week that we thought RJ was actually going to put Robbie Gilvin away and advance into that Fatal 4-Way, but the resiliency of Robbie and, of course, that patented sweet chin music were enough for him to be able to, at least for now, dash RJ's dreams of getting back into the title picture.
One thing you mentioned during that matchup, too, is the potential ring rust for RJ. That might have played a role in that. RJ hasn't been in the ring for quite some time, not since before Combat Evolved, until that matchup last week. So I have to wonder, maybe is that a little bit less of a factor going into this matchup here tonight against Harry Potter?
Yeah, it may have been a good warm-up match for him to, in a proverbial way, get his feet wet back in between the ropes, is taking it to Harry Potter in the early going, trying to work on that leg, and now shoulder first into that post.
Among all the things we see a lot in FWE, that's one thing we don't actually see that often, is people being driven shoulder first into those steel ring posts. RJ made use of it, though. Now he goes up to the top rope.
RJ working quick as he drops the knee right across the forehead of Harry Potter, goes into the cover, hooks the leg, and nearly picked up a 3 count here just moments after the bell sounded.
RJ Bishop not getting paid by the hour here. He's come out hot and fast to start this match against Harry Potter.
As we mentioned, Robbie Gilvin with that victory last week, advancing to Sunday Night Springfield, going to join Ernie the Keebler Elf. We now know that Maui will be a part of that Fatal 4-Way, still one spot to fill. We'll be finding out the winner of that spot later on this evening as Carson Gum takes on Kyle Matthews.
As well, coming up later tonight, as we mentioned a few times, Mutiny going to be taking on Disney Queens as we continue the round robin tournament, looking for new #1 contenders for the Women's Disney Tag Team Championships. And of course, our main event, tag team action, Mulan and Jasmine going to take on Catching Fireflies.
Of course, the big question after what we saw transpire earlier on tonight between Mulan and Jasmine is, can the two coexist? It seemed like, for the most part, both were on active terms, but maybe a little dissension in the ranks in the closing parting statements between those two. We'll see if they can coexist here against Catching Fireflies, who we also know are going to be at some point going up against each other for LA's Female Fighting Championship. We just don't know when and where.
A lot of things TBD, as they say here in FWE.
And you mentioned TBD. I mean, you even look ahead past Sunday night at Springfield, the PLE at Kingdom Jewel. It is scheduled that it will be the men's and women's respective world champions going up against each other, and tentatively right now we can pencil in, we can't permanent marker it, we've got Jasmine versus Shuri, and we've got William Turner versus Cole Eastwood, but there seems to be some rumblings that maybe those won't be the champions by the time we get to that PLE.
Yeah, I can definitely speak to that. I mean, you look at what's happening on Saturdays. You got Shuri right now is currently dealing with some kind of threat from Susan Storm. Covered here by Harry Potter.
And almost.
Nearly took it there.
Almost.
Really forced me to finish that point after the ad break. But yes, Susan Storm right now threatening Shuri apparently. Seems to have that title in her crosshairs. And then on the men's side on Saturdays, Cole Eastwood, the first ever Universal Heavyweight Champion, he just got pinned by Kratos, and that maybe puts Kratos in the conversation for that belt.
We do know that, at least according to Commissioner Woody, that at least for Thursday nights it will be William Turner representing Thursday Night Throwdown at Kingdom Jewel. The winner of the Fatal 4-Way at Sunday night at Springfield. There's number 2 or 3. I'm going to keep messing it up.
3.
But we know that at least, hold on. RJ may be thinking, yes, cheeseburger slider. Cheeseburger slider. I think that's going to end this matchup. I'll have to talk about the further point after this break, because RJ, I think he's found his footing again, and that footing went to the side of Harry Potter's face.
Momentum in the corner of RJ Bishop. Finally, after that return, picking up his first victory since. And look to continue that momentum going forward.
Last week wasn't enough to get him back in the title picture, but this could be the first step towards trying to reclaim the gold. His first victory back from suspension. And up next, you talk about it all hanging in the balance. A must-win for both teams. Mutiny, Disney Queens face off next.
Welcome to Kingdom Jewel, where the broken become brave. Every scar is a shining proof. Every doubt gets thrown away. When the bell hits 3 and the night turns cruel, we still stand in the center. We still shine. Kingdom Jewel.
Well, so far in this round-robin tournament, only one team has been able to remain undefeated. If Mutiny picks up the victory tonight, they will have swept the table and claimed #1 contendership here in this tag team tournament.
Absolutely, but then you look at the other side of things, Disney Queens, if they're able to pick up the victory, you're going to have 3 teams finishing the tournament at 2-1, and at that point, absolute and utter chaos, I guess is the only way you can describe it.
Team Let It Go earlier on tonight picking up the victory against Huntrix. Now their fate basically hangs in the balance depending on this matchup. Mutiny with a victory over Huntrix to begin this tournament, and then a count-out victory last week over Team Let It Go. And again, we documented both Autumn Brooks and Jessica Schulten. They were drafted to Thursday Night Throwdown as singles competitors. The only other time prior to the draft that we saw them tag together was the first and only time back at Mortal Kombat. looks like the chemistry definitely has, if not continued, looks like it's ramped up a bit.
Certainly has.
Well, 3 tag teams here in FWE have held the Women's Disney Tag Team Championships more than once. Belle and Rapunzel at the Disney Queens are the only duo to have held the belts 3 times. If they can possibly force that 3-way tie that we're talking about with a win here, they could potentially take one step further, not only to #1 contendership, but maybe be 4-time champs.
I just gotta wonder as well, what's going on right now when you talk about the mentality of Belle and Rapunzel, knowing everything else that's going on right now in the locker room of the Disney Queens. You gotta wonder if they maybe have some thoughts on all that that's going on right now between members like Jasmine and Mulan.
It's been somewhat tumultuous waters in the Disney Queens faction as of late. Of course, Mulan losing the Female Fighting Championship, but Jasmine picking up the Iron Queen title. Belle and Rapunzel trying to get back into the tag team title picture. So yeah, you kind of have to wonder, is that going to, in a sense, be clouding the judgment and maybe taking away the clarity of the Disney Queens and what is a must-win situation here for them to be able to force a 3-way tie? And as I said it earlier, maybe the first time ever Team Let It Go is going to be cheerleaders for the Disney Queens.
May have never seen that before, and we may never see it again, but now that's exactly the scenario that they are hoping for. But it's going to be very difficult to try to take down a team like Mutiny. Autumn Brooks, Jessica Shelton, they've teamed up multiple times together in the past, and that chemistry has certainly paid dividends so far.
We've seen Rapunzel and Belle win and defend the tag team titles in interesting situations. Maybe the most notable one was when they were able to successfully defeat the Unholy Union in that Escape the Break matches. Nice DDT there by Autumn Brooks, takes down Rapunzel, gonna make the tag into Shelton.
Oh my.
Met with a spear immediately.
Across the knee is Rapunzel. Now Rapunzel going to go for the tag.
Goes in for the tag, but surprisingly left Shelton over in her own corner. Shelton could have easily made a tag to Autumn Brooks, but just deciding instead to take on Belle, and now gets the arm wrenched.
Not necessarily sure that she was thinking about a tag right there, only because she had only just gotten tagged in right then and there, so she didn't necessarily want to bring Autumn in while Autumn wasn't fresh.
Now Belle gonna lock in a knee bar here. Trying to make Jess tap out. Jess with a well-placed boot to the face, gonna fight out of that submission hold. Think about this as well. For Belle and Rapunzel, with what Mutiny's been able to do so far, going 2-0, what kind of a feather in the cap would it be for the Disney Queens to hand Mutiny their first loss really ever since they reformed here after the draft?
It would be quite an accomplishment for the two. Maybe not necessarily the biggest accomplishment they've ever had, because let's be honest, the multi-time tag team championship thing is probably in the back of their minds too, but you certainly have to imagine that it would be no small feat nevertheless to try to get that victory and end that unbeaten streak, because we got some kind of a bow and arrow submission locked in here.
Oh, and able to fight out of it. Actually it floated into a cover, did Jess, to force Rapunzel to have to get out of that situation. Now a roll up here by Shelton on Rapunzel, and Rapunzel kicks out.
Feet were awfully close to the ropes there, but nevertheless Rapunzel able to kick out and then capitalized on Jess missing that springboard attack.
Oh, big takedown there, almost transitioning into a power bomb. Rapunzel in control of this matchup for the time being, and of course, we talk about the tumultuousness of the women's tag team division here just on this brand, but it seems to be spreading across both brands. As of course, you've had Kim Possible and Shigo of Toxic Attraction. They've been enthralled in a rivalry with the current holders of the tag team title belts, the Daughters of Thanos. We talk about it all the time. If you're holding the tag team title belts or the cruiserweight title belts, you've got enemies on both sides because you're defending your title against both brands.
You gotta have your head on a swivel for sure. You're be paying attention to what's happening on both shows, not the one that you're assigned to. As Autumn dropped Rapunzel across that leg or her knee there. I think Rapunzel's out of range now. She's going for that hot tag and she'll get it. Bell's legal.
Oh, and a kick to the gut. Oh, I think maybe Bell was setting up for the Hello Bell leg drop. I'm not sure if Rapunzel was maybe in the way, and now Bell disposed to the outside.
Rapunzel with a couple of cheap shots on that Autumn there, and Autumn will spear her to the outside, which is kind of important because now Bell does not have a tag team partner in the matchup. Roll up here.
Roll up here to try and go 3-0, and a kick out by Bell at 1. Again, if Mutiny wins this matchup, they are full-fledged the #1 contenders. Hello Bell connects! And she's not done.
Setting up for another one.
This time off the other side of the ropes. Connects with the Hello Bell. Is this gonna force a 3-way tie at 2 and 1? And oh, at the very last second, Shelton breaks it up.
I was not totally certain on when to make the move and try to break up that pinfall, and she was almost a split second too late.
I think that Elsa and Anna nearly came up out of their seats if they were sitting down backstage. Bell now setting her sights on Shelton there on the apron. Smart move, take out the potential fresh individual. Autumn is the legal participant.
Yeah, Autumn had a chance to recover there, but that's the only good news she has because now there's no tag team partner, and she might not be aware of the hot tag was just made. Now Rapunzel's legal.
Rapunzel legal. Oh, got Autumn hoisted up. Might be preparing for the snuggly duckling. Again, Shelton's not up on the apron to help. Here is the cover. Can the Disney Queens tie this thing up in a 3-way? Yes, they will.
My. Well,
take a good look, folks. Updated scoreboard. 3-way tie at 2 and 1. We don't have a clear #1 contender.
Said that you wouldn't want to be Commissioner Whitty in this certain situation, and I have to imagine maybe some kind of a triple threat or something is coming up now. We have to do something to determine a new #1 contender.
Well, up next, it's Carson Gum, Kyle Matthews as they look to punch their ticket to Sunday night at Springfield.
Unleashed on the wrestling stage. Schedule for one fall. Making his way to the ring. Accompanied by Dylan Right 6 foot representing the Thrill Seekers from Dayton, Ohio. Weighing in at 203 pounds, Kyle Matthews.
Well, Dylan Young coming out here alongside of his Thrill Seekers tag team partner, Dylan, a former 3-time holder of the Tri-Wizard Championship, going to be in the corner of Kyle, who is looking to make his way into the fatal 4-way to become the #1 contender for the Tri-Wizard Championship, looking for his first singles championship here in FWE.
I have to wonder, though, what is the mentality of the Thrill Seekers going into this matchup, because we saw them this past Saturday unleash an attack from behind after a tag team match between the Family and the Republic. They took down the Family after that matchup. Clearly, the tag team picture, or the tag team title picture, is still very much on their mind as well.
Carson rides his way down to ringside. Yeah, you bring up a great point. I mean, the men's tag team division, the rivalry has been hot and heavy, of course, involving the current holders of the tag team titles, Ed and Eddie of the Family, the Thrill Seekers, the Gotham Inmates, and now most recently the Republic, all getting into the conversation. Can they put that rivalry on the back burner here? Can Kyle Matthews topple an individual who has held a singles championship here in FWE? Carson Gunn, a former two-time holder of the Wayfinder Cruiser Championship.
Listen, this has not necessarily had any kind of titles to compete for a while since he dropped that belt. This is as golden of an opportunity as it's going to be right now, with Dylan and Kyle kind of focused on two different title pictures at once. Carson's head is a bit more clear. He can stay focused on the world title picture here, and that could be a big advantage going into this one.
This is the final of our qualifying matchups. Ernie the Keebler Elf, Robbie Gilvin, and now most recently Maui, all wait in the wings to see who the final participant is going to be to take part in that fatal four-way just 72 hours from tonight.
I mentioned it earlier before, I'm going to mention it again. Travel, the fatigue, the stamina, it's going to be a factor. As soon as we're done here on Thursday, some people are going to have to start making their way over to Springfield for that Sunday night at Springfield mini PLE house show that we call it. Other people are going to have to stay here because we still got an episode of Saturday Night Smash coming up this week to be our go-home show.
Absolutely, and that's going to be, 72 hours right now from that glorified house show in Springfield, but those that are a member of the Saturday Night Smash roster, those that are going to be on the card, they've got less than 24 hours to catch a flight and head there.
I don't think it's going to be that big of a flight difference, though, between Springfield versus Orlando.
No. Good point.
I think for that reason, a lot of people are happy that you talk about we're eventually going to start gearing up for Paramount again. Paramount, our second version, is going to be right in New York City, so not really any flight necessary for that one.
I also know that a lot of members of the roster, even Commissioner Woody admitted himself, took in the sights and sounds of Walt Disney World while we were down in Orlando. Not sure how much there is to be able to do in Springfield, maybe outside of eat donuts.
Well, Moe's Tavern is around there as well.
Oh, that's true. They've got great chili dogs.
So I've heard.
Kyle in control of this matchup right now. Taking it to Carson. Oh, and Carson with a nice hip toss, going to gain the advantage here. And we ended up just moments ago coming off an interesting scenario as this round-robin tournament we've had with the tag teams, the women's tag teams here on Thursday nights, has ended in a three-way tie. Belle Rapunzel of the Disney Queens, Elsa Anna of Team Let It Go, and Autumn Brooks, Jessica Schulten of Mutiny, ending at 2-1. Sounds like we have a resolve. I've been told that the Thursday night Throwdown episode following Sunday night at Springfield, it will be Mutiny versus the Disney Queens versus Team Let It Go. Triple threat tornado tag match to determine #1 contenders.
We've seen that on the men's side. That was for the titles back at Fantasia. Now we're going to see it on the women's side just to determine #1 contenders. So this tag team action here does not slow down in FWE.
We essentially went to overtime.
We really did. Carson had a vice grip locked in on Kyle. Kyle was able to sweep the leg after he worked out of it.
Oh, went for a senton there. Maybe taking a page out of his tag team partner's book, but it did not connect. Carson now with a roll-up here, trying to pick up a quick victory to advance. Reversal by Kyle.
There we go.
Another reversal. Back and forth, seesawing here with pinfall after pinfall.
Nobody could really get a one count in before they worked their way out of it finally. Carson brought Kyle down to the clothesline, and Kyle with the reversal.
Oh, big springboard forearm by Kyle Matthews takes down Carson Gum. And now one half of the Thrill Seekers in control. Go behind waistlock. Big lariat clothesline. Turn Carson inside out.
And now Kyle on his way to the top rope. Calling for Carson to get to his feet. Carson may not want to.
In the drop zone for that forearm from the top. Carson may be out. Cover is in. Oh, and a kick out at 1.
Carson, after all that, did not even get a 2 count from Kyle, so try and at least capitalize on the extra life that he was given. That Superman punch is not going to do him any favors.
And now Kyle setting Carson up, maybe for that package pile driver. Oh! Carson had it scouted, though.
And it's scouted, but then he completely whiffed on that forearm that he was trying to go for.
Oh! Oh! Side stunner by Kyle Matthews. And now Carson having to use the ropes to get back to a vertical base.
Oh, got the feet up, though. And to counter that momentum again out of Kyle. Look out here.
Got him up on his shoulder. Brings him down hard with a slam. Oh, look at this. Brings him up into, oh, F5. He had him in a carry position, put him up on his shoulders, scores the F5. Oh, and nearly picked up the win.
He could be thinking about another one here, though. This matchup could be over in just a moment.
Could we have a second storm coming through? Second F5 will hit. You could count to 20. Carson Gum will be the final participant in the Fatal 4-Way at Sunday night at Springfield.
Here is your winner,
I think this loss may only further motivate the Thrill Seekers to stay a little bit more focused on the tag team title pictures on the men's side, so we might see that a little bit more in the future. But for now, Carson Gum, he can ride that motorcycle to Springfield.
Field is set. Carson Gum, Maui, Robbie Gilvin, and Ernie the Keebler Elf, 4 individuals that have never held a world championship here in FWE. At the conclusion of Kingdom Jewel and Infinity War Games, that may not be said any longer.
Coming up next here on FWE Thursday Night Throwdown, it is our main event as the Disney Queens going to take on Catching Fireflies. We're not totally sure what the chemistry is right now between the Disney Queens, but we're going to find out if it's going to lead to any success coming up here after the break.
welcome to Kingdom Jewel, where the broken become brave. Every scar is a shining proof. Every doubt gets thrown away. When the bell hits 3 and the night turns cruel, we still stand in the center. We still shine. Kingdom Jewel. Kingdom Jewel. Kingdom Jewel.
There she is!
Hey, Ariel.
Hey, champ, I just wanted to come by and wish you the best of luck in your tag match here tonight.
Well, thank you very much. By the way, did you happen to see my promo earlier on tonight? I shouted you out because you truly are a big reason why I have this Iron Queen championship now.
I did, and I really appreciate the kind words. I always knew that you had it in you, and it warms my heart to see you doing as well as you are now, but I do have to say I have a little bit of reservation after what I heard there between you and Mulan. I just want to make sure that the two of you are going to be able to work together tonight.
Okay, wait, hold on. I'm having a tough time understanding this. When Mulan held the Universal Championship, she was basically the one in charge. Now the shoe's on the other foot. Now I am the Iron Queen champion. Now I hold the richest prize in our industry. I feel that now the mantle of leadership should fall to me.
No, Jasmine, this has nothing to do with who leads and who follows. This is merely about bringing the Disney Queens back together as a cohesive unit again. The only way that we're going to be able to keep our position of power in the women's division is if we all stick together and stay on the same page.
Ariel, don't worry. As long as Mulan does exactly what a champion says, we're gonna be just fine tonight.
Well, it would appear that we're not the only ones that are maybe a little concerned about the cohesiveness here of the Disney Queens.
On the way to the ring, the Women's World Champions, the fight Princess.
Brought up earlier, I wasn't totally certain what the thoughts were going to be of Bella and Rapunzel as they had that tag team title match, and now Ariel also as well was kind of caught in the middle of all of it. He's a little bit concerned as well.
I kind of have to wonder, I mean, what are your thoughts? Sounds like Jasmine's feeling that at the time that Mulan held then the Women's Universal Championship, she was the de facto leader of the group, and now that she's got the world title, that mantlehood falls to her.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, there are some members of the Disney Queens that might have differing opinions of that. I feel like they want to kind of have a no leaders reel type of mentality, but at the same time, Jasmine feels as though almost justifiably, I guess you could say, she's been treated differently by the rest of the Disney Queens until she did win a championship. And now that she has the world championship on the women's side, she feels as though she deserves a bit more respect.
Well, you mentioned it earlier on tonight. There's no way that either Mulan or Ellie are coming into this tag team matchup at 100%. Both involved in that ambulance match 1 week ago. The final in that trilogy between the two of them. Ellie emerging victorious with that female fighting championship. May not have it for long though, because she basically issued a blank check to her tag team partner Katniss Everdeen saying, hey, anytime, any place that you choose, you and I are going to have it out for the title.
Something that might be in the back of their mind during this matchup, so probably hoping that they can just put this thing away now before it gets started. And I think Mulan trying to start the matchup for her team, but Jasmine is insisting she goes to the ring apron there, and that Jasmine's the one who starts this matchup.
Jasmine basically alluded to both Mulan and Ariel just moments ago that she's the shot caller. She's the quarterback right now.
Yeah, not totally sure how on board the rest of the Disney Queens are with it. Like I was just saying, she probably feels as though now she can be treated a little bit differently now that she has that championship gold around her waist. At the same time, though, you don't want to do anything too crazy that messes with the chemistry of you and your team right now.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that kind of stands out to me is that the concerns are being raised specifically by Ariel, who by Jasmine's own admission was the deciding factor into the Jasmine even still being a member of the Disney Queens. She was the one that really wanted to give Jasmine another shot. Obviously, it's paid dividends.
So far, so good, but it might not necessarily mean or it actually might mean a lot in the wrong way if she's ends up getting pinned in this matchup here against Catching Fireflies.
Oh, Jasmine went to go, looked like make a tag to Mulan. Ellie able to fight out of it, and now an exploder suplex into the opposite corner there. Of course, Jasmine, of course, last week, cheap shot there by Mulan. Jasmine last week successfully defending the Women's Iron Queen Championship against Moana, her first title defense, a successful one. Right now on the receiving end of a flurry of offense by Ellie, and I kind of question Ellie delivering this over in that corner, because there you see, very easily able to make the tag to Mulan is Jasmine.
Now into the cover is Mulan. Ellie gonna kick out at 1.
Certainly going to be interesting to see when Katniss makes the decision to cash in for that title shot against Ellie. I mean, you've been in this situation. I go back to the matchup you had with Baymax, an individual that helped you recuperate after your Hell in a Cell matchup. You and he had to go to war for the Wayfinder Cruiser Championship. Allies that had to basically put that friendship aside with gold hanging in the balance. There's going to be that kind of a situation eventually between the two members of Catching Fireflies.
I will say at least they know that it's coming. You know, I had to kind of wait and hold my breath and see who was going to win that 6-man over-the-top battle royal, the This Is Your Life Jack Mitchell matchup that you called it. Oh, man. Yeah, at least there was a bit of a forewarning this time, so at least they know that eventually when they do have to put that friendship aside and settle their business inside the ring, they have an idea of when it's going to happen.
That's a great point here, is now Mulan and Katniss Everdeen, the two legal participants, and remember, These two have some history. The reason that Ellie wants Katniss to have a shot at the Female Fighting Championship is because she holds a pinfall victory over Mulan at the time that Mulan had that belt in her possession. Certainly has to be arguably the freshest of the four women in this matchup too. With Mulan and Ellie being in the ambulance match, Jasmine having the title defense.
Absolutely. Brings that a count of 7. Finally, everybody gets back into the ring. Springboard forearm connects.
Jasmine looking for a tag, but Mulan in no position right now to be able to get over to that corner. She's Irish whipped into enemy territory. Here's the tag into Ellie. You brought up a point earlier in the matchup between Carson and Kyle. Let's actually hold that thought. Roll up here by Ellie on Mulan, looking to pin Mulan. Oh,
whoa!
Able to reverse it there. Ellie's hand pretty close to that bottom rope. Now another reversal into a pin. A kick out at 1. There were no pinfalls the last time these two met. You had to throw your opponent into an ambulance, but you mentioned about maybe the fact that what's been going on in the tag team division could have clouded the judgment of Kyle Matthews in that one-on-one matchup. With Katniss now knowing that she's going to have a future title shot at the Female Fighting Championship, could that cloud her judgment in this matchup?
It very well could. That is certainly something to keep an eye on here. I mean, the judgment might also be clouded between Mulan and Ellie as well, knowing that they just put each other through hell in that ambulance match. Already seen some exchanges between the two of them in this matchup, and any further ones might be pretty hardcore.
Two of them, we discussed that trilogy that they had, a knockout match, an underground match, and then of course finished it off with the ambulance match last week as Jasmine, nice go behind with a full Nelson suplex.
That was impressive. Now Jasmine trying to keep that momentum in her favor. They actually going to spill to the outside. Jasmine, that double axe handle.
Jasmine has been surrounded by women that have formerly held world championships here in FWE. Of course, defeated Elizabeth Swan at Fantasia to claim the Iron Queen Championship. Defended against Moana last week, and now teams with a former world champion, a teammate out of the Disney Queens in Mulan. And look at this! Cloverleaf submission by Jasmine. I don't think we've ever seen her use this before. The Iron Queen adapting a little bit here into the submission game.
Certainly something new, but Katniss was able to work her way out of it.
Oh, gosh!
Oh, boy.
Spaghetti legs, Jasmine with that forearm, but missed with the springboard moonsault. Raja's revenge from out of nowhere. Cover in on Katniss, and Ellie will break it up.
Ellie not even hesitating to work her way into the ring to try to break that one up, and Jasmine tried to deliver a cheap shot as well, but that might have allowed a brief moment of recovery. Never mind.
Massive uppercut to Katniss. The tag in to Mulan. Katniss trying to make her way over. She'll make the tag into Ellie. Running it back from a week ago.
Head there by Mulan. Got to be really frustrated that she was on the losing end of that matchup.
Oh man, laying in those forearm shots. And you just saw Ellie just fall down to the mat effortlessly. Maybe a little dazed.
Stuck in the corner. Once Ellie tag is made, Jasmine the legal woman here.
Gotta say, there were a lot of question marks after what we've been seeing tonight of the potential cohesiveness between Jasmine and Mulan, and really outside of the dissension at the beginning of the matchup, they've been working like a well-oiled machine.
That they have, and they are right now, as you see Mulan gonna drag Ellie back into the ring. Jasmine was a little bit more focused on Katniss. And it seems to be paying off in their favor right now, as Ellie is stuck in the wrong part of town.
Jasmine looked like she might have been wanting to go to the top rope. Mulan got in the way. Chop block now will go up to the top rope here on the other side. Might be looking for that desert wind. Gets it. We've seen her put away Elizabeth Swan. We've seen her put away Moana. Oh, doesn't quite put away Ellie Williams.
This tends to be one of those finishing moves where when you see one, you usually see two, and Jasmine is going to do everything in her power right now to try to set up a second desert win. Ellie back on her feet. Might not be for long.
Oh,
man.
Roundhouse kick. The heel of her boot catching Ellie right in the head. And now makes the tag in here to Mulan. Surprising, to your point, that we didn't see her go back up and try and hit that second desert wind.
It's typically what she goes for in these type of scenarios. Instead, going to try and make the tag, though, and that, I guess, only furthers to help the cohesion right now between the Disney Queens.
Certainly got to think backstage. Ariel liking to see this cohesiveness here between Mulan and Jasmine. Big shot there by Mulan. Oh, we've seen this before. That reverse suplex by Mulan. Is that enough to put Ellie away and win this tag team matchup?
Oh,
wow.
my. I feel like Ellie has been through the ringer in this matchup so far. There might be another big move coming up here soon where if it connects again, she might not kick out. I think she needs a tag.
Big heel kick there. Might turn the tides into her favor, though. And now a suplex of her own. There's that tag you were talking about. Well needed. In comes Katniss.
Katniss beats that drop kick, though, and Mulan, I think, is now going to go for a tag of her own.
Tagging in Jasmine. Oh, and again, that uppercut. Might be setting Katniss up for that springboard drop kick. Oh, wow, I was kind of wondering. That looked awfully close to the rope. Somehow she was able to still hit it.
Ollie wasn't too thrilled with that. She tried to hit a cheap shot, but it was just out of her reach. And now, again, Mulan going to tag back in.
Good frequent tags here amongst the Disney Queens. We, of course, know that Belle and Rapunzel, also of the faction, they're going to be involved 2 weeks from tonight. Or sorry, correction. Next week, next Thursday night, they'll be in a triple threat tornado tag match with Team Let It Go and Mutiny to determine #1 contenders for the Women's Disney Tag Team Championships. And Jasmine, I think, was going to go for another springboard dropkick. Katniss with the spear cuts her off at the pass.
Great ring awareness there by Katniss, and now going to dish out even more punishment on the outside.
Big forearm shot there by Katniss. In control, but got to be aware of the referee's count.
Nearly sent her gut first into those steel steps at ringside. Instead, going to send her back into the ring, though. Oh boy.
Might have her set up potentially for that District 12. That's how Katniss defeated Mulan in their last bout against each other. Cover is in on Jasmine, and Mulan will make the save.
Just, I think, a little bit in the wrong part of town there. Close enough for Mulan to get back in the ring and make the save, but all the momentum right now is with Katniss.
Big reach. Not sure she got all of that boot, but got enough, and now Jasmine makes the tag into Mulan. Oh! What? That might have been Ultimate Dishonor.
I think so.
And Ellie breaks it up.
Yeah, considering how quickly Ellie flew in to try to break that one up, that definitely felt like that was Ultimate Dishonor.
We normally see a setup for that, but that was completely out of nowhere. Blindsided Katniss Everdeen.
Hey, you never
and now
know.
got a submission. Submission locked in.
You catch somebody off guard, the submission.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe this is a submission Mulan had on Esmeralda in that Lost Empire lockdown match.
Have to check the footage on that one, but yeah, that could have ended the match right then and there.
Irish whipped off the ropes. Oh my goodness! Another massive suplex by Mulan. This tag team matchup, it has gone rather lengthy here, and we mentioned that at least 3 of the 4 combatants are not coming in here at 100%. How much do they have left in the reserve tanks?
Definitely not that much at all, and Jasmine right now feels like she could be setting up for a big finish. Oh, drop kick in the corner.
Now hits the Meteora into the midsection. Not sure exactly what Jasmine was going to go for there. Not sure if she was maybe going to go up for Desert Wind, may have been looking for that springboard drop kick, but now, guillotines Katniss on that top rope and a horrible landing to the outside.
Jasmine right now not going for any kind of moves to the outside. Feels like she would be content to win it by count out, but instead, Katniss going to work her way back in. Tried to interrupt that attack.
Was there friendly fire right there?
I don't think it could have been.
It almost looked like as Mulan was going to take a cheap shot at Katniss, she may have caught Jasmine in the midsection.
I need to take a look at the footage there, because to me, I was going to say it looked like Katniss might have connected with that attack just before that cheap shot from Mulan, and that would be very interesting, because if that was a friendly fire incident there, you'd have to imagine Jasmine would not be too pleased with Mulan at all.
That would be the first time we've seen really any problems between the two in this matchup, as Katniss almost picks up a 3 count against the Iron Queen champion. And as I say that, I just thought about this scenario as well. What if Katniss or Ellie end up pinning Jasmine in this matchup?
Possible new #1 contenders. I mean,
we talk about that all the time.
We're seeing maybe it could be happening on Saturday nights. It could happen right here.
Jasmine still has not been able to regain composure ever since what appeared to potentially be friendly fire between her and Mulan. Scoop slam by Ellie, now up to the top rope, scores the leg drop. And now gonna go in for the cover. Cover is in, Mulan in to make the save. Oh, Ellie tried to take a cheap shot at Mulan and may have, I don't know, maybe throated herself on that middle rope.
Maybe. Either way, though, don't take your eye off the ball.
Nice deep arm drag by Ellie.
Uh-oh.
And now setting Jasmine up. Sinister Spores! Followed up by the punt. Is this going to be enough for catching Fireflies to pick up the victory? Ellie has just pinned the Iron Queen champion.
That's a little bit of a suspicious way to win the matchup, to be honest with you. I didn't realize maybe we had no disqualifications or anything like that, because typically you see that move result in a disqualification, but either way, the referee did not signal for the bell. This matchup is over.
And certainly one would have to think was not the result that the Disney Queens were looking for here tonight.
Now you think about that friendly fire incident that happened between them as well. I mean, Jasmine is probably going to be seething right now in the back.
Katniss Everdeen and Ellie Williams emerge victorious here tonight in tag team action. Ellie has pinned the Iron Queen champion. Will that have ramifications? We will have to wait and find out. Join us this Saturday night for the go-home show of Saturday Night Smash before Sunday night at Springfield. Good night, everybody.